Over the past year or so, Tom has been introducing himself at dinners and parties as a digital marketing manager. But when I used to work with him at Apple about 10 years ago, he definitely would have said he was a DJ, an electronic producer. When did that switch happen? And can he get it back? Can you get it back? If you earn good money in your corporate role, but you're feeling creatively dead inside, well, this video is for you. I'm going to take you through a little bit of Tom's story, but also 3 strategies that can help you to move on and figure out a way forward. As I said, Tom's a digital marketing manager and he's doing really well. He's earning about 90k a year and he's based in London and he runs teams all over Europe for clients that are all over Europe and in European markets. So he's doing good. He's in demand. He enjoys what he does, but deep down, he definitely has a desire to get back to making electronic music and producing kind of dancey stuff, but also as you get a bit older, he's kind of getting into the more ambient stuff too. And he gets that. But he's feeling a little bit stuck and constrained by like what we often refer to as those golden handcuffs. He feels like he's gotten too successful and he's earning too much money to be able to throw it all in and, give it up and just DJ or make music. But he doesn't have to. There are ways in which he can think about figuring it out and finding time and moving forward. But then there's also a time crunch. Time is tough for all of us. And he is not long married and they've got a under 1-year-old child. So if you're a parent, particularly in that new parent phase, you know that it's a lot of energy. It's very time consuming, but it's beautifully rewarding as well. But as their kid gets older, they'll have a little bit more capacity and headspace to be able to consider other things as well. So Tom's aware of that and he just wants to start thinking about how they can make more time and move on. Tom realizes that his skills are growing within his industry, whether that's Google AdWords, kind of social ad placements. But on the flip side, his skills in his software of choice and in music production are fading and they're getting less and less practice. And he knows that they're slipping away and that doesn't feel good to him. He wants to figure out how he can have his cake and eat it. And I also think there's a little bit of identity confusion for him as well. He did ask me when we were talking, he said, am I a marketing manager that makes music on the side or rarely makes music? Or am I a musician who gets to work in marketing? And he doesn't have a clear answer for that yet. I could totally get that there are layers in which we do things, focus on them, prioritize them. Obviously, in a world where we've got rent to pay or a mortgage to pay and a family to feed, then, doing our work, getting paid is the highest priority and it's the last thing that we're likely to give up. We may sacrifice some family time to, stay on late and work or work on the weekends. But the easiest thing to let slip is your creative projects and your creative passions. So they can often get sidelined, particularly when you're busy and you're working 50 hours a week and you've got a young family. Tom's often left thinking, this is just a hobby and I'll get back to it when work calms down. In my experience, that rarely happens. And by the time it does, other things have come up. Something needs to get done around the house. It's time for a holiday. Something else rears its head and you need to go and take care of that. So I find it's often easier to be really planful and specific about making time. And I know as creatives, as artists, that sounds a bit boring. And ultimately, this is not 100% a productivity thing, because if you're productive at work, you're getting projects done, you're able to organize your time. This is often about energy, and I think in this case it's about identity. There's a little bit of confusion going on for Tom as whether he's 1, a musician, or 2, a marketing manager. And in fact, it's okay to hold both and be both. And we're going to figure out how he's going to do that. I've been asking my viewers and audience to fill in a creative assessment that I have to help them figure out what type of finisher they are. And 44% of people so far have come back as getting stuck in the messy middle. That means starting projects, getting 30 to 50% into them and running out of steam, running out of energy, running out of motivation, or finding the shiny object of, hey, this other thing here is more interesting. Let's start that. Whether that's selling a piece of gear and getting something new or fresh, or it's just putting the last thing down because it's feeling a bit dull and starting another version of your project. And I also said about energy as well. I think that's really important too. It's not just about time. By the time you get through your week's work, you're feeling drained and you're not feeling like you want to pour yourself into that. You need to recuperate. You want to spend time with your family. Maybe you need to give your partner a break from childcare duties or around the house. And that's important to have those negotiations and navigate that like as a team. And if you're thinking that this sounds like your life or how your projects go, please, there's going to be a link in the description for the Creative Finisher assessment. Fill it in. It's 10 simple multi-choice questions. It takes 2 minutes, and then I'll get back to you with your own bespoke diagnosis. I'll look at it and I'll send you a video and let you know where you are and a couple of things that you can do. But let's keep going with this video because we're going to get into some of those now as well. It's actually been really interesting working with Tom because he had a conversation with his wife and they really kind of dug into what was important to them, what was important to them about their family, about their life, and how they wanted to live. And they even got to the stage where they were like, maybe there's something bigger than being here in London. So they've actually just recently packed up everything and moved to Valencia in Spain. And there they get to enjoy a different pace of life. Thankfully, his job, because he's working across European teams, is he's able to work remotely, so he still keeps his job, he still keeps his good salary, but there's a lower cost of living, so there's a little bit more money there for them. Rent is cheaper, a lot cheaper than London. But also there's a whole change of scene. There's an artistic musical kind of underground thing that's going on there. So Tom's able to plug into that, and even just kind of walking around a city that's full of vibrancy and life and art. And I'm not saying London isn't. It definitely is. We lived there for 10 years. I totally get that. It's true. But there's something wonderful about exploring somewhere new with your family and getting into that. And I think the sunshine and the warmth has really seeped into his bones because he's getting back to his music and getting passionate about it again and finding space and time because there's not quite the same life and family commitments when you're away. Also, there's a slight mysterious stranger piece that he's rolled, and he's actually showing up and doing using his DJing to get gigs in local bars and restaurants, and that's really thrilling him, and it's enticing him back to get back to making music. So it's win-win. So definitely Tom the musician who does marketing as his job has risen to the front, and he's happy to hold both of those, and he's okay with those things now. As a creative guide, I often work with people who are getting stuck in their projects and helping them to move forward. And whether or not we ever work together or not, there's 3 things that I think you can do. And you can try them by yourself, and if you need help, try and find somebody who can help you walk through these. Strategy number 1 is to do an energy audit. Have a look at where you're most energetic in your day and in your week. Some of us are real morning people, so that means getting up early and having time to do that, seeing the sun coming up, getting out, getting into the light. And some people, it's late at night. And kind of when everything quietens down, just finding that space to be able to work. Take a note on your phone, or if you've got a journal, take a note every day at the same time and go, where did you feel most energized? Where did you feel that you were receptive and open to people asking you for help or new things? And then when was the opposite? When did you feel when people asked you for help, maybe, after work or at the end of the day? Maybe you felt a little bit more closed and a little bit like, oh, I couldn't take anything now. I don't have the capacity for it. I'm feeling tired. I'm hungry. Figure out where that is for you. We're all different. We're all put together in different ways, and it's totally fine. But one thing you can start to do is try and find or put your phone down for 15 minutes to do something creative. And that could be reading a book that inspires you. It could be jotting some notes about your project. It could be just journaling a little bit, or the idea of morning pages, which comes from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, and just journal 3 pages first thing in the morning and just write out just stream of consciousness stuff. And it's a creative act, regardless of if you're a writer or not. You're just engaging that creativity to help you produce something. Now, that never has to turn into something. This isn't a sketch for your memoirs. This is just a chance for you to put pen to paper and prove to yourself that you are creative. And it helps you connect with that. It could be a small little bit of work on some music. It could be reviewing something that you've done. Anything that just small that can help you to make kind of baby steps forward. It all adds up. It really does. Strategy number 2 is have a little project triage system. Have a look through the projects that you've started and you've gotten going. And have a look to see, can you find one that's going to be a little bit more bulletproof and handle the ups and downs of life and the busyness of work. One that can handle a bit of neglect from time to time. And maybe put some energy into that. Review it, see where it's at, have a think about what it needs to get it to a finish line, and then break it down into milestones. Think about what, you could do in the next couple of weeks. What could you have done by the end of September or even by Christmas? And have a think about how you could break that down and give yourself little goals to get to. Set those small little steps, break it down from this big, unimaginable, hey, I'm never going to finish this, to little baby steps. And in the same way, those 15 minutes adds up. Any energy that you put into this over time is going to pay dividends. And the last strategy I'm going to suggest is that you have a really honest, open conversation about your own, not just your creative ambitions, but also your career goals. Where is your career? Where are you at in your career? Where do you want to get to? Why is that important to you? And where is it taking you? And is it taking you in the direction that you really want? Or are you happy with where you are and there's other things that are really important to you, like getting back to your creativity? All of those are perfectly great things to discuss, but it's good to have a friend or a partner, a colleague that you trust, or a coach to talk through these things and figure out what your next steps are. But really, is that aligned with who you are as a person? And are you valuing that? Or have you kind of gotten lost on the hamster wheel? Have a deep look at that and figure out what steps you can take to move forward. Cool. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully there's something there that can help. Don't forget that there's a link in the description for the assessment. I'd love to get back to you and tell you what type of finisher you are and give you some tips on how to move forward. But YouTube is going to suggest a video for you here, and take a look at that. Hopefully that's helpful as well. Okay, until the next video. Thanks. Bye.